And now I'd like to welcome to the stage someone probably much more important than me, and that's Marcin McGowan, the dad of Dáithí.
Hello. Just before starting, I just want to thank you all for listening to me today, and to extend the thanks to Phil and all at NHS BT for allowing me to speak today, and for Catherine and the Public Health Agency for putting the trust in me to tell the story of Dáithí's Law. As you can see, this is Dáithí, but to be honest, it's hard to remember exactly how our life was before October 2016, when Dáithí's mum, Seth, brought our heart warrior into this world. He was weighing 7.5 pounds, which many of you will know that for a cardiac baby is very impressive. But our world, it was turned upside down at Seth's routine 20-week anomaly scan, where we thought our biggest worry would be finding out if Dáithí would be a boy or a girl. We weren't keeping our baby's gender a surprise, but we got the surprise of our lives when we found out that our baby had a severe cardiac condition. We left the hospital that day and we were truly horrified. The news that we were having a baby boy, it didn't soften the blow until a few weeks later when everything had sunk in. Days then they rolled in the weeks and then months, and Dáithí joined us on the 21st of October in 2016. Looking like any other healthy baby, Seth was allowed to hold Dáithí for 10 seconds. I was allowed to take a quick photo, and then he was taken to intensive care, where we would see him a few hours later. Hypoplastic left heart syndrome is the form of congenital heart defect that Dáithí was diagnosed with, which essentially means that he was born with half a working heart and that he would require immediate open heart surgery, but with no cure. At 2 days old, Dáithí was flown to London, where I held him for the first time. He had his first of many surgeries at just 4 days old. The following 46 days were in pediatric intensive care, and they can only be explained as a terrifying, never-ending nightmare, and this included a lot more surgery. It also included a stroke. He had neck and a less than 10% chance of survival he was given. But we will never forget, and this is where kind of the story of Dáithí's Law starts, because this is where we understood how strong he was. And we'll never forget the words of Dáithí's surgeon on the 6th day of life-saving ECMO. He was just 10 days old at the time. And this moment is a miracle moment that you would think would only happen in the movies. We were asked that horrible question if we wanted to withdraw support and let our baby boy pass away peacefully. At that very moment, Dáithí opened his eyes, and it was the first time he had opened his eyes after his surgery. And he looked directly at the surgeon, and to which the surgeon replied, "Your boy wants to live." And those words, you know, they stay with us since then, and they'll stay with us forever. Dáithí would fight against all the odds, and he would return home to Belfast for Christmas in 2016. But we would eventually get the news in January of 2018 that Dáithí had no other options but that of a heart transplant. And we were thinking, surely our boy had suffered enough and he deserved a bit of a break. Sorry, folks. Dáithí was accepted onto the routine waiting list on the 1st of June of 2018, which was the best day of my life. This may seem strange, but this is the day when hope returned to our family, and we would launch our Donate for Dáithí campaign shortly after to raise awareness of organ donation in our native West Belfast. However, the power of Dáithí's individual story, it wouldn't allow our message to remain at a local level, and we decided to ride the wave of positivity and spread as much awareness as possible all over Ireland and the UK. Normalising organ donation in our society, that's become the goal, and it continues to be our ongoing goal. In the years that followed of the campaign, England and Scotland would join Wales in changing their organ donation laws to a soft opt-out system. Although we were campaigning ferociously here to have a similar system, it appeared that door after door was being closed in our faces. We had a 3-year period here without a government in place, but we worked in the background to get support at local government level from every political party while negotiations continued in the background. It was around this time as well that we teamed up with the British Heart Foundation, NI, and we travelled all over the country, many late nights, council meetings, gathering support, and we're proud to say that we're probably some of the very few people to ever get all the political parties to unanimously agree on something here. Believe me. So, councils, unfortunately, do not have the power to change laws, and some even questioned if we were wasting our own time. But by the time the government was finally restored, our campaign was waiting, and we were literally waiting at the doors on them coming through Parliament buildings, having already built a positive relationship with the political parties, so they knew exactly what we were there for. We feel that we were very fortunate to have Robin Swan appointed as Health Minister, and he agreed to meet us immediately. We also met with the Health Committee quickly after it was established and gathered support from members on that committee, which was a very important step because the last attempt to bring this system in here, unfortunately, it didn't pass committee stage. We felt we laid so much groundwork before Minister Swan's announcement of plans to launch a consultation. We felt the Minister, along with the department, could hit the ground running as the mandate was running out. And then, of course, we had the further setback of the COVID-19 pandemic, which of course had an impact on everything around us, but we carried on. Around this time last year, all hope was fading for the change of law. And without going too deep into the politics, it ended with a personal phone call from the First Minister at 10:30 p.m. at night to say that not only that Dáithí had his attention, but Dáithí, and more importantly, that Dáithí had his support. This meant that soft opt-out organ donation could continue on its legislative journey. And I can remember at the very last stages of the legislation, there was more doubt around the law change because of more political instability. But I can remember having a conversation with Ram Wilson from the Department of Health, and there were doubt over all different laws being passed here. And he put me right at ease that day by saying that this legislation will go through. And I asked him why, and he says, because it has Dáithí in its corner. And after a hard-fought 18 months, Minister Swan not only announced that the law would be changing, with huge support from the floor of the Assembly, but also he announced that it would be known as Dáithí's Law, as a reward for Dáithí's years of campaigning. And aside from Dáithí being born, it was probably then the proudest day of my life, until yesterday when he got a little brother. Thank you. But like the surgeon said all those years ago, our boy does want to live. Dáithí is full of life, and he brings joy to all those that meet him. We are so blessed to have him in our lives, and on those days when the harsh reality of Dáithí's condition becomes too much of a cross to bear, we remind ourselves of the positive change that has happened because of Dáithí. The lives that have been saved because people know Dáithí's story, So that's why we think that Dáithí is exactly where he is meant to be at this moment. Dáithí lives a very happy life, where he is not only a law named after him, but he has become the coach of the Belfast Giants hockey team. He's graced Ireland's national GAA stadium with our county footballers, and he's even beaten an Olympic boxer in the ring. And all doing this while inspiring thousands to join the organ donor register. It's not bad for a 5-year-old. Dáithí continues to wait on that life-changing phone call that will hopefully bring the news of the gift of a new heart. But until that day comes, we hope that Dáithí will continue to spread the good word of organ donation in the hope that more people say, yes, I donate. And I just want to leave the final words to Dáithí himself, but also just to thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dáithí and I was born with a new battle heart. Now I need a new heart. I have a campaign and a law that is law. I just wanted to gently follow all the work do. It will help people just like me. I love to type people what we're going to do to save slaves. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks very much.
So I think, many of us are doctors, nurses, allied health, but, we don't change the world. We maybe change one sort of patient at a time, but, you're changing things, you and Dáithí and the rest of the family. So thank you for everything that you've done. And, a little baby brother for Dáithí's. When we're planning this, we're thinking Seth, your wife, Dáithí's mum, would be here. But she can't because she was having a baby yesterday. But we have a little gift for Seth. And we just wanted to that's something you can take home for her. So thanks very much, Marcin. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.